Hi, hope you're having an amazing day. So today we're going to talk about pleasure again and whether overeating is actually pleasurable. So, I used to be such a bulk eater. I would just want lots of volume. I liked the act of eating. I wanted it to last longer. And so I would almost always eat to the point of being over full. That felt comfortable for me, actually. I wanted my stomach to feel over full, partly because it showed that I didn't have to, restrict myself like I did on so many diets, partly because it helped numb me out a bit to my life and what was going on, because I had to focus more on my fullness than I did on my life. So that's totally an emotional eating topic that I cover in my emotional eating program. And I'm not going to go down that road because we just don't have time today. But I just want you to start thinking about, are you an overeater? And if not, this might not pertain to you, but I think you'll still get some nuggets of good stuff from today's video. So there's a book called The Slow Down Diet by Mark David. And this topic and this idea changed my life. And Mark David says, eat to the point of energy. So you don't need to worry about eat till you're 80% full or this or that. Just literally stop eating at the point where the food has given you nourishment and physical energy, and before you actually are robbing energy from yourself. So what I mean by that is if you overeat, you know the feeling. All of your blood flows in your stomach, you feel like you need to have a nap, you're lethargic, you're not mentally super clear, you don't have energy to go for a walk because you totally overate and all of your blood flow is in your stomach. That is eating past the point of energy. So I love this idea because it's okay, nobody's gonna tell me how much to eat. I don't need to measure out my food and portion control, no. I'm gonna take the food I think I need and what I want and what my eyes want, and I'm just going to eat to the point where I'm getting energy from the food. And at a certain point when my stomach feels pretty full, my stomach's starting to feel full and I still have energy, that's when I stop. I don't overthink it. You can always eat more later. Don't be afraid of hunger. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Some people are literally afraid of being hungry. So eat to the point of energy. And, one of my favorite emotional eating experts is Janine Roth, and she uses something called the hunger scale. And actually, a lot of people have talked about the hunger scale over the years. 1 is roll me on out of here. I'm way overate. Oh, I said that opposite. 1 is I'm starving, and 10 is roll me out of here, take me out on a dump truck. I way overate, and I have no energy to do anything, let alone think clearly. Whatever. So 1 is I'm starving, 10 is I'm stuffed beyond stuffed. And so, the 5, 6, 7 range would be I still have energy, I'm satisfied, I'm done. So I'm going to talk a little bit about overeating, and I want to just encourage you that you might not be quite sure what I'm talking about, and you might be I don't even know what hunger is. I've had clients say, I haven't felt hungry in years. I just eat at a certain time of the day. And I encourage you, hunger is your body's sign to you that your metabolism is revved and ready to digest food and that your body needs energy. If you never let yourself get hungry, you're probably holding excess weight. That's just I would generally say that's a truth. So remember, your bodies are so amazing. If you can slow down and start respecting your body more, oh my gosh, life gets so much easier. Your body becomes your ally on this journey instead of your enemy. So I know when I started to eat to this point of energy, instead of eating, to the point of lethargic and exhaustion, weight started to really come off. And I loved it because I didn't have to feel deprived like I would have had to on a diet. I wasn't measuring my food like I was on a diet. I was just listening to my body. And, I remember nights where I literally was I wish my husband would brush my teeth for me. That's how much I ate and how little blood flow and energy I had in my extremities. And that's not cool. And so, going into a food coma, of course, that's really not a cool way to live. It's a way of numbing out to your life, but it's also super stressful on your digestive system. It's an overburden on your digestive system. It's proven that the food that you eat point to the past of satiation starts to putrefy and become more toxic in your body, because food isn't meant to stay in your system for too long. You're meant to kind of clear it out of you. But if you ate the amount of food for 3 people in one meal, then your body is having all this toxic burden and load on it. So that's hard on your body. When we hold toxicity in our body, you know, a lot of people suffer with cellulite, low energy, that kind of stuff. We just do not want that. So eat enough for you and for one person, not for 3 people. The other thing is overeating causes faster aging. Nobody wants that. And of course the calories have to go somewhere. So they usually, for me, go to my hips and my butt when I overeat. All right, so I'm going to talk a bit tomorrow about using food as something more than just physical nourishment and a source of joy. And so that will be looking at a little bit about what the triggers for overeating are. We're not going to go too deep into that because that's more of what I cover in my emotional eating program, but it is important to kind of be realizing that. So I want to ask you, is overeating actually pleasurable? Nobody can tell you when to stop, and you have to decide if it's pleasurable. But there are a couple things that are actually facts. So what happens with your taste buds when you overeat is they actually lose sensitivity. So you know what I mean. That first piece of cake is like an orgasm in your mouth. The second piece of cake is good. The third piece of cake tastes more like cardboard and guilt and remorse than anything else. So I do not believe for 1 second that overeating is pleasurable. And if you say you love food, awesome. Eat it with joy and gusto and pleasure. Stop when you're full. Because if you eat past the point of being full, you're definitely starting to get into that range of guilt and shame, not to mention all the stress you put on your system, like I was saying before. So there's a really great quote by Janine Roth. It says, "It is when pleasure ends that overeating begins." So once eating becomes dull and automatic, you know you're not hungry anymore, and you're probably eating for a reason other than true physical nourishment. If you're present, you will know when the pleasure is over. And so I want you to remember a couple things. One is to know that you'll taste that taste again. So this really helped me because I used to just be like, I love food, I love the taste, it's so awesome. But I would remind myself, okay, Charmaine, you're gonna taste this taste again. Cupcakes, I love cupcakes. Like, Charmaine, you can go to the mall and go to Crave anytime or buttercream and get another cupcake. You don't need to keep eating right now. You know, another thing is don't be afraid of food waste. A lot of people, it's so ingrained in them that it's wrong to waste food. And I just want to encourage you that if it doesn't go to the waste bin, it goes to your waste. And this was my thing forever. People called me the human garburator. If someone wasn't going to finish what they were eating, I would take it. And that's an extreme example. But I mean, I stopped taking other people's food waste, but I also started wasting my own. And I'm not saying I love to waste food, but if I eat it and I don't physically need it, it's going to add to my waistline, it's going to toxify my body, it's going to cause faster aging, and I'm not even going to enjoy it. So it's so ridiculous to overeat. So I want you to remember that gorging, even on your favorite food, is not actually genuine pleasure. So going out for an ice cream cone on a hot day, that's pleasure. But getting an entire pint of ice cream and eating it in front of the TV while you feel kind of bad about it, that you know you're hurting your body, that's not real pleasure. So start to kind of realize the difference. Our bodies want to be nourished, they don't want to be overfed. And once you start to really love yourself and respect your body, it'll become a lot easier to eat to the point of energy and not want to be stuffed and overfull because you know what a burden that's putting on your body.